today I'm going to be doing my January TBR. So if you guys have seen my 2019 bookish resolutions video, then you know that for this year I have a pretty big reading goal. I set myself at 100 books to read this year, which will probably average out to around 9 books a month. So I've got a pretty big TBR list here to show you guys. Don't know if I'll get to every single one of these. I'm hoping I will, but we'll see. So the first 2 books I'm going to show you are non-fiction books. Like I said, if you've seen my bookish resolutions video, you'll know that one of my goals is to read at least 2 non-fiction books a month. So the first one I'm going to talk about is Love Your Life, Not Theirs by Rachel Cruz. And this is, like I said, a non-fiction book. Rachel Cruz is actually the daughter of Dave Ramsey, which, if you know Dave Ramsey, is a finance guy. He's all about helping people get out of debt and stay out of debt. He has a book, The Total Money Makeover, and courses on getting out of debt. So this is his daughter. She wrote a book, Love Your Life, Not Theirs, and this is 7 Money Habits for Living the Life You Want. This next one, also another nonfiction, is Start Balancing by Christy Dickerson. And she is actually the founder of the Start Planner, which I have. And this book came with my order of my Start Planner. This was part of their Black Friday deal. You get this book with your planner. So with this one, it really goes through different areas of your life. So relationships, finance, getting organized, all that fun stuff. And so she talks about that in this book. And I think this sounds like it's kind of like Emily Lay's book, A Simplified Life. And I think this sounds similar to that. I'm not quite sure, so I'll have to see. I'll have to see when I read it. The next book is going to be The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness. This is the first book in the Chaos Walking trilogy, and the movie comes out in March. And I talked about it in my most anticipated movies of 2019. I'll leave that link below if you haven't seen that. But it comes out in March, and I really want to read the books before I see the movie. So I want to try to get to this one in January. And this one is about a kid named Todd who lives in this town where everybody can hear everyone else's thoughts. So there's no secrecy, no privacy. But then he comes to a place where it's silent and he can't hear anyone's thoughts. And then from there, it sounds like he's kind of on the run. So that's pretty much all I know about this one, but I want to get to it hopefully this month. The next one is Winter of the Gods by Jordana Max Brodsky. This is the second book in the Olympus Bound series. The first one is The Immortals. And this series is kind of murder mystery, but with the Greek mythology in it. So I read the first one, I think a couple years ago, and one of my goals for 2019 is to finish 8 series. So I really want to continue off with this series. So I want to try to read the second one this month. I don't have the third book yet, but I want to get to it and finish off the series this year. So, yeah, it's on my list. So, this next book is one that I wanted to read back in October in the fall, because this is the type of book I would read in the fall, but I didn't get to it back then. But I still really want to read it, so I'm picking it up in January. And that is I, Ripper by Stephen Hunter, and this is a Jack the Ripper retelling, which I don't know why, but Jack the Ripper retellings are my favorite, and so I definitely want to pick this up soon. So this next one for me is going to be a reread, which another goal of mine for 2019 was to reread at least 3 books, which I am definitely going to surpass that because I plan on rereading this whole series before I get to the final book, and that is the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. This is the Assassin's Blade. This one's like a prequel to the Throne of Glass series. So I'm going to start with this one and then get into Throne of Glass and all the other ones. I haven't read Kingdom of Ash yet. I've been wanting to, but I've realized that there's so many things about this world that I've already forgotten. I read this series like 2 years ago now, and so there's a lot. Even when I read Tower of Dawn, the 6th book, I was reading that and I was realizing, oh my gosh, I've forgotten who some of these characters are. I've forgotten everything that happened in Empire Storm. I forgot so much. And this series is a complicated one and there's a lot that's involved in it. And so I was like, as much as I want to jump into Kingdom of Ash and see what happens, see how it ends, there's a lot that I've forgotten, and even watching reviews online to refresh my memory, I don't think is going to be enough. So I've decided I want to reread the series and reread all the other books before finally diving into Kingdom of Ash. So for January, I'm going to start off with Assassin's Blade, and hopefully if I have time to get through more, I can maybe start off with, I can maybe get to Throne of Glass in January as well. This next book is another one that I want to continue with the series this year, and that is A Clash of Kings by George R.R. Martin. This is the 2nd book in the Song of Fire and Ice series. I read Game of Thrones a while ago now, I think a couple years ago now. And I've watched the first season of the show on HBO, but I haven't continued yet, and I really want to continue with the series, so I really want to get to this next book and maybe watch the 2nd season once I get done with this one. So yeah, this is another series I want to continue with this year. I do have the first 5 books on my shelf, so yeah. Now for the last book on my list, I'm actually going to be picking out a book from my TBR jar. This was, again, another goal of mine for 2019, was to get back to using my TBR jar and picking a book out of here every month from my jar. So let's see which book I get for January. So it looks like my January pick for my TBR jar is The Jewel, which is the first book in a dystopian trilogy, I believe. This is a book that's been on my shelf for a few years now, so it's an older book that I really should pick up and read. So that's what I'll be doing in January. So that's it for this video, you guys. Let me know what books you're planning on reading in January. And if you've read any of these books that I showed you guys today, let me know what you thought about them. No spoilers, but if you've read any of them, let me know what your thoughts were in the comments below. And I will see you guys soon with another video. Bye!